So Kim, you have come an incredibly far way, and I think you ran the math last week on how many days it is that we've been working together, and it's something like
Mhm.
47 or
It
so,
was, yeah, it was 43 last week, so
right?
maybe 50
Maybe
now.
50 now.
Yeah, we
My
skipped a week
first,
on,
yeah, yeah,
on a session.
mm, yeah. So a little bit like about a month and a half.
Right.
Kind of crazy to think about, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and it's so much in a short time when you think about like going years feeling like you're not doing any changes or improvements, and then it's like it was so fast sometimes, and I was afraid I was going to forget something,
Yeah,
like, or miss something. And so I did a lot of writing and thinking and stuff, trying to keep up. But it's like been amazing,
yeah.
like really crazy amazing.
I have to be honest with you. Waking up to your messages about the changes that you've seen
Uh-huh.
were becoming the highlights of my day. I mean, genuinely, like, let's just call it 50 days that we've been working together, right? We'll call it even.
Right. Okay.
I'm curious, did you expect to have the changes that have occurred to you to happen in that amount of time?
Never in my wildest dreams, but I didn't even expect a lot of those changes to ever like have happened. That's really what blew me away, is how many changes. But I never imagined that those things would have happened.
Hmm.
I just It's really amazing. I mean, it's impacted, my my relationship with my father, and a sister, and at work with my supervisor, and with my husband, and also like just my quiet time in my head is all like different. And that's like 4 or 5 things in 50 days, and they're like not little things. I'm older and I have had a lot of these problems for decades, and I also learned a lot about myself, and I appreciate you helping me with boundaries, because I never even thought of that. And if I would have, it would have made my life a lot better. I would have hoped. But
Better late than never, right?
yeah, that's correct. Right, because I want the best, next 20, 30 years. So uh,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah, and it's easy to kind of think about, oh my gosh, like if only I had done this sooner. If only
right.
I had start feeling better and enjoyed not just these relationships with your dad, your siblings, so on and so forth, your family, but myself. I wish I enjoyed the time with myself more. But the thing
Mhm.
I'll keep reflecting back to you is like you get to enjoy it now.
Yes, yep.
You know?
Yeah,
Isn't
no,
that
no.
beautiful?
Yeah, I don't want to, like, I've been trying to not worry, and I don't want to start worrying about not having done it sooner, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, why take away my peace? And uh, I just was really like amazed at the lessons, and the topics for those lessons, and how important those particular ones were for me. And I'm grateful that you chose those for me. And I think about peace and safety, and those are really key things in my mind. And so now I get to enjoy the feelings of peace and safety in my head. So and relationships now by setting boundaries. So
Mm.
it's like spectacular. Yeah.
Thank you so much for reflecting that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I was
One,
just happy.
yeah, and that's the best part of all, right? It's like
Right.
there can be a million things going on externally outside of us.
Mhm.
We can feel like really anxious. We can feel really in our own heads, in our own ways, right?
Mhm.
Like
Right.
we keep getting in our own way. And the best part about it, something you've learned by now and heard me say many, many times, you're probably sick of it by now, is all
Never.
roads all roads lead back to Rome, right? It's like healing everything out there is actually an internal job. Like wanting a better life is an internal job, right? One of the, I mean, you've seen so many different changes in 50 days, uh,
Mhm.
changes with your family, improvements with that, significant improvements in your peace and your happiness.
Mhm.
It seems like that's just your baseline now. Like,
Right.
and I'd love to talk about that, kind of that before and after. Why is that so significant for you? What were you experiencing before that makes this new current state so profound for you?
Well, for one, going to my parents to see them, I was really anxious and really triggered and afraid. Be just all this history, and then I'll never forget the aha moment that I saw you have when you figured it out, and and that is that my father really loves me, and considering all the situations in his own life, it like made so much sense, and I never figured that out. And so when I went to my parents for a weekend, it changed how I looked at my dad, how I thought about him, but also I let him know that I knew that he loved me, and I that makes all the difference to me. And he was calm, but it's just, yeah. And with my sister, I'm not so worried about being manipulated and bossed around anymore. And I have more loving relationship with my husband that we're, working on, and he's responded really well to it. And then now it's like every night when I'm home, I'm actually laughing, which I don't ever really ever do, like really truly. And I'm just really happy at home, like despite everything else going on in the home or things that are undone. I just feel really happy. And then just driving around is like it's so weird to have this void in my head, but then it opens me up for
Yeah.
like it's like what is wrong? Seriously, like there should be something happening in my head, and
Why aren't I anxious anymore? Where's all the stress and negativity?
yeah,
Yeah.
shouldn't I think about something? And but it also leaves me up for for inspiration or a different viewpoint or aspect that is more like peaceful for how I can treat other people or see other people. And so, and then at work, I was struggling with, I would cry and stuff, and with had the PTSD and all of this stuff, but I'm much happier at work, and I can self regulate, and that was a hard place for me, but I'm like really happy about that because it was just out of control, and I had counseling didn't really help, but I it's like beyond my wildest dreams that all of these things took place, but that they happened, so quickly.
Mm.
It's just been really terrific. I'm
And I
really
got it.
happy.
No, thank you so much. And I got to say, isn't it interesting? Because myself included, most people, myself in the past, most people think, well, if I'm anxious right now, if I feel depressed, if I'm stressed out, if my work life sucks, my home life is stressful, it must be because work is causing this anxiety. It must be because my
Mhm.
house and my home life is causing this internal chaos. It must be
Right,
all these external factors in my life
right,
that are
right.
causing me to feel like shit. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because when we started, you alluded to that. You said, well, I want to change. I want to do all these. I want to feel better, but I can't just quit my job. I can't just move out of my house. I have a family. What are you talking about?
Right, right.
And I remember telling you, I said, don't worry. You don't have to do any of that. And I
Right.
promise you, all of them will improve. And,
Mhm.
I remember you saying something so significant. You were like, when I get home from work, I just kind of go to my bedroom and I just lay down and I feel that negativity and I just kind of hide, like I hide away in my bedroom.
Mhm.
Can you explain the difference of that? I mean, like your work and work too. Same thing with work. You'd get there, you'd feel what? So much stress, anxiety. I mean, explain
Right.
what that looked like for you, because there's probably a lot of people who will watch this that are in the same shoes as you that feel
Mhm.
powerless to what's going on in their life.
I mean, there was even a time with pain that I just couldn't really handle work, and I would crawl under my desk and to rest and take the pressure off, but to get away from the negativity too. But
Yeah. Like literally crawl under your desk.
I did, yeah. I have a
Yep.
blanket and a pillow, so
Nice.
so yeah, I did that, and a lot of it was from physical pain, but it just gets to be
Yeah.
too much with negativity too. But it's like I would come home and it was I used to do weightlifting and exercise and had a trainer, and I had a lot of energy and hiked, and then these things happened, and I feel like I lost that, in part because it was hard to get started again with, but it's just easier to go bed rot. And
Yeah.
that's really what it was. It was, it's like, oh, I have to find clothes and go to the gym, and it's cold, and I don't, it was just too much. And it's like my feet were too cold. I didn't want to do dishes, and I really was bed rotting, but now I'm not bed rotting. And I'm really happy for that. I have hope for the future, with taking better care of my health. Right, we worked on unbecoming, and now it's like I really need to put the the thumb screws on myself
Mm.
and become. But at least because of you, I went on a walk this morning, and I've tried adding that to help me get going, and and so I really appreciate you helping me with that, and helping me to have more energy to do something, right. And so I spend more time just being with my family in the house, but now I gotta get ready to go hiking. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Working your way up to it, which is incredible too. You touch on a really good point also, because you said, thank you for helping me get this energy back and everything.
Mhm.
A lot of people, probably a lot of the folks watching this too, are wondering, okay, so what did he give her? Like, what did she do? What did she add to her life that gave her all this new energy, or that gave her all of this peace? And it's funny because that's the wrong way to look at it, isn't it?
Right. Yeah,
I didn't give you
absolutely. You didn't
anything.
motivate me or
No,
or
no
with me or
motivation
force
needed,
me or
right?
threaten me.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like the change is not a process of putting more on your plate, is it? It's a
No.
process of what's been here for too long? What's weighing
Right,
you down? There's
right.
nothing wrong with you. So if it's true that there's nothing wrong with you, and you're also feeling really anxious, really stressed, powerless to family and work life and things like that, what's in the way? And I use the analogy, it's like a dam in the middle of a river. It's not that anything's wrong with the other side of the river. There's
Mhm.
just something blocking the flow of the water. It's
Right.
the same thing with our peace, our
Mhm.
happiness, our energy, isn't it? I mean, did
Yeah.
you talk about that, what that looked like for you once you started letting go of everything and what happened for you after that?
Yeah, it's like letting go of so much in my mind,
Yeah.
right? But also you helped me to you taught me that I'm manufactured to be at peace and safe and happy. And I really believe that that's the way, whoever did it, that's the way that we are created, and we should be. And it's really not dependent on all of the problems and things that didn't get fixed, and there's boundaries and all of that. But in 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 thinking of myself more that way, and with breathing and meditating, and thinking about who I truly am and who I've wanted to return to or be, is happy and giggling and determined, and badassery and all of this,
Yeah.
even though people really tried to block me with the weightlifting and stuff, and control me. But it's like it's I've set myself up for happiness with setting boundaries, which I never thought about, but recognizing, instead of thinking about the things I was so hurt by with my father and those letters where he was really critical. You showed me how I'm his favorite, and
Yeah.
so it just makes my time with my parents so much better, because I'm not caught up worried about the past. Like it really unblocked a lot of things, and also just my own behavior also helps to improve the behavior of my husband
Yeah.
and others, and the relationship, because now I treat, instead of being angry about something, it's more like it's just seeing others differently, and I just, it is a real flow. So I
Mm.
I don't know if I expressed that very well, but
You did. You did
yeah.
very much. What you said reminds me of that saying. It's like a high tide raises all ships, right?
Mhm.
And you're that high tide because it's like you started to improve yourself so much and let go of what was in the way of your peace, your happiness, your joy, your passion, your energy. And when you let that go, your home life changed, your
Mhm.
work life changed. I remember just today we were talking about earlier over text, your supervisor, who you used to just, even the word supervisor would trigger an anxiety response.
Right. Yeah.
Now the man is sending you e-gift cards showing you recognition for how
Yeah.
far you've come and his appreciation that he's now extending towards
Yeah.
you. I mean,
That's
like,
really
like what the hell is going
really
on,
hit me
right?
so strongly, and he saw me, just he knew that I was really working on it, and it, yeah,
Yeah,
it's happened really fast, and that was important to me, because I had stopped doing the things that I used to be do at work, because I just had trouble with my behavior or PTSD. So I wasn't doing
yeah,
the extra things that I should be doing, and so now I will be hopefully soon returning to be able to do that. And so
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, no more anxiety, significantly less stress.
Mhm.
You've set boundaries now, so you don't feel
Yep.
like the world is happening to you. It's now you're
Right.
back in control, right?
Right. Exactly.
You feel happier. It seems like that's just every single morning you're waking up. And I get these
Mhm.
beautiful, for those of you who don't know, I get these beautiful text messages where Hannah is just expressing her happiness, like
Mhm.
just your appreciation to be breathing, to be alive.
Mhm.
Uh, Yeah, I can't express to you how profound that is for me to just read. Like it's amazing. I love seeing the transformations people go through. And I'm like, what else am I missing? I know you said that you've had some health issues
Yeah.
away. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Like
incredible what happens there,
yeah,
huh?
you helped me to identify problems in my throat and jaw. I've been clamping my jaw for months, and like even cracked a tooth. I don't know how that could have happened, but a couple of times. But then I have vocal cord dysfunction that's become a real problem, which makes it hard to inhale, and also affects my voice, but my throat, my neck was hurting, and it was, yeah, it was just like it was too much. It was too much. So, and interfering with my work on the phone, and so it made me really nervous. And then I did not know that I had grown up without a voice. I never like put that together on my own, but also with my sister that was bossing me around for years and manipulating me. And then you showed me that, and so I'm improving, and I can breathe in really well or pretty well. So it just takes some time. But yeah, that was really like the most amazing thing is realizing that. And it makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah, I bet one of the things you weren't expecting, and there's a reason I didn't tell you when we started working together was, hey, so you have some trauma living right here in your body. And by the way, that's probably why you've had these issues with the stuttering and not being able to breathe in very well, and
Mhm.
all of that pain that's showing up in the throat. And when we started releasing a lot of that and a lot of that trauma, where did it start releasing from? Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
saw you were having a lot of that. And it's been incredible to see what's unfolded
Yeah.
since then and the improvements. And
And to be able to identify it, it's like with sitting with my body and discomfort, and then it's like I'm now was able to put a name to it, like namely my sister. But
yeah,
yeah, it's really crazy that you can just um, I felt some stress in my chest at work yesterday, and then I just like sat with it, and it went away, and I wasn't freaked out about it because I knew it would just go away.
yeah.
So
It's no longer something you have to attach and then therefore identify with. So
right,
you have this stress, and most people attach to it and let it take them down this crazy
hmm
rapid. And it's
right,
like, not only do you not need to do that anymore, but as you've seen, the more you've learned to lean into it, and especially
hmm
after releasing these programs and the trauma, it just stops showing up so much. And you're like,
oh yeah,
until eventually, it's very funny. A good mentor of mine said, "You want to know how you heal?" And I said, "How?" He goes, "You forget that you were ever sick." And eventually, what happens is you just start forgetting how stressed you
Mhm.
used to be, how anxious and how much pain you used to be in. And it just
Right,
stops showing up. And one day you look back and you're like, holy shit, I used to be very, very anxious. Like, what happened?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
it looks like that's what's happening with you.
Yeah, and I'm a more attentive driver because now I can like put that stuff out of my head where it just doesn't come. And
Yeah.
so and also that I was flinching. The flinching while driving had gotten really bad
Yeah.
uh right before we met, and I was spooked by a lot of things. And now it's like a rare thing that I will get really surprised, but I'm just more aware, and so I'm really glad for that. It was
Mm.
stressful.
Yeah, right. It's good for you and for the drivers.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you've come a long way. I mean, and thank you so much for being so open and for just expressing and walking everybody through what changes you've noticed, where you used to be, and now more importantly, where you are now, how your
Yeah.
life, how your work, how your home life has changed as a result of you investing in yourself and facing yourself. I want to talk about this a little bit now. What encouraged you to like really take that leap and say, you know what? I'm gonna do this because you had tried a few things in the past to
Mhm.
try to improve. You did a little
Right,
bit of counseling, right? Some therapy
right.
here and there.
Yes.
What encouraged you to ultimately say, you know what? I'm sick of dancing around the symptoms. I want to get to the root of this, and I'm gonna do this. Because there was some hesitation there. So could you kind
Mhm.
of like walk us through that a little bit?
I I don't remember a lot, but we set up a call with each other, and I just immediately trusted you. And I don't remember the things you were saying, but I just knew that it was right. I could just feel it in my whole self that it was the right thing, and that I could trust you. And I kept trying to tell myself like I don't know really anything about you, and
Yeah.
or
Who is
any
this
kind of real
stranger from Instagram?
guarantee, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. But it was like I feel like you've over delivered for me. Sometimes I feel like I owe you more money or something. I know
Love
that's
it.
not true, but I just trusted you, and you're always like you're like not distracted. You're never distracted. You're always like really attentive and laser focused. And yeah, and then also I'm like 30 years older than you, so you're like my kid. But you're really not. You're not a but yeah, you're just
Yeah.
anyway. I just trusted you. I don't know why, and I have not ever regretted it for a second. And I really I do not. So and
That's amazing.
yeah, and I might have to hire you again sometimes because I'm a little nutty sometimes.
That's the beautiful thing too, is like with therapy and with counseling, what, at least with my experience in the past, with the overwhelming majority of people I've worked with in the past, what their experience usually is, well, keep coming back one session per week or one session maybe
Mhm.
bi-weekly, whatever it looks like, and just keep doing that for 30 years. And I'm so adamantly against that because it's like, what's the goal here? Are we getting rid of the problem, or are we trimming the leaves of this poisonous plant?
Yeah,
Like, you have a life to live. It shouldn't be spent entirely in therapy. Like, you should go live.
right.
Let's get
Mhm.
rid of these weeds in the mind,
Right,
and then just let the garden, so to speak, flourish, right? And so
right.
I'm
Mhm.
happy that you made that choice. And I know for me, I'm better off doing it as well. And same with you, it seems like. And
Mhm.
so going
Yes.
back to that, I'm curious, like, what would you say to someone who does feel that hesitation of like, I'm just not sure because the therapist told me I could get this done in 30 years, and I've done
Yeah,
counseling before, and I've tried meditation, and I've done medication, and I've tried all
right.
these different things, nothing has
Yeah.
worked. What would you say to that person who's in that position, who's kind of on the fence about working together?
Yeah, just recognize that, with counseling, that they give you some tips and then you're just talking, and then there's no more like tips, and your life isn't really any better, and you're like feeling, worse. You just need to take a leap and just do it. I'm sorry, I can't really
Yeah.
think of what else, but that's where I had come to. And I I don't know, Max. You should just do it. You should just take the leap and do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just money. I mean, money's really important, but it's worth doing what you need to do to make your life better, and recognizing what time you have, left in life, like for someone older like me, and that I want to go kayaking, and hopefully get in better physical shape again. And I had an idea, Max, but I don't. You should just trust me, and do it. You won't regret a moment of it. Oh,
Thank you.
and also, like, I can contact you by voice note and text, and which is something you never get in counseling. So, like, consider that when hiring Max, and that is that if you are going through something emotional, like that you're learning from, or new experience with the things that you've taught me, Max, or problems with the things you're working on, like my sister, and and it was really all those years, like 30 years with her, I had never set a boundary, and I like to deflect blame onto myself, and I you were helping me to send her to get a text and let her know what the boundary is, and what was happening wasn't going to happen anymore, but I was making it soft, and you were able to even help me over the weekend. It just took a little bit of help, and you asked me what I thought, and about my text that I sent you, and I knew that it wasn't right, so I fixed it on myself, and then
Yeah.
anyway, that's far worth, like, that is so worth it, to have the someone to sometimes hold your hand through it, which is really how I felt about that weekend, that you held my hand through that, because I was really hard, and sometimes I think, oh geez, I'm such a baby, like,
Oh,
but
no, no.
and I should be embarrassed, but I'm not really embarrassed. I always feel completely safe, and well understood, and I'm like amazed you have all the answers to help me, and to help me to also think, and to make changes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that so much. And it's
Mhm.
like, in my opinion, change doesn't have to be something that takes years or even months upon months upon months. It can happen quickly, as you've seen, and that can be a
Mhm.
limiting belief for a lot of people is, no, change has to be hard, and
Right.
change has to take a long time, because it took me so long of my life
Yeah.
to get to here. And so it's going to
Mhm.
take me equally or even more long to get
Right.
out of here. And what a bunch of bullshit that turns out to
Yeah.
be, huh? Like, not
Right.
true at all. And so, like, I get a lot of people say, like, oh, you're basically just saying that my anxiety can go away in just a couple months or like even a month or maybe even just a
Yeah.
session. And, that's not what I've learned in therapy. And I'm like, yeah, how's therapy going?
Right.
How long have you been in there for this anxiety? And what are you doing to treat it? Are you managing symptoms? And then
Right.
you can't get mad when it's still coming up if all you've ever done
Right.
is address symptoms because you're never addressing what is causing these symptoms.
Right.
What's the root of this? And when you remove that, as Kim has so eloquently put it, fuck, life gets good.
Yeah.
Man, that's really the only way I can put it.
Yeah.
It's
It
life gets
like
good.
it's really truly amazing, even from the very first session. And like by session two, I'm thinking, why do we have more sessions? Because this is already really great. I
Yeah.
seriously thought that a few times. Like, what are we going to do?
What are we even gonna talk about? What are we just gonna hang out, shoot the
Seriously, that's
shit?
what I was thinking. Like, what are we going
Yeah.
to do? But we did. We did
Yeah.
more.
One of the
And
funniest
even,
things is as the sessions progressed, I remember the deeper realizations you would have. I remember you looked at me one time, you were just like, "Oh my God." And you just turned around and you were like, "I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it." You're like, "I can't keep feeling this good."
right.
It was so funny
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even after we finished those sessions and you've been supporting me, I've still been you are just helping me this weekend with some things because sometimes your trauma and stuff just comes up out of the blue, like it just isn't ready to present, and then it does, but then I knew what to do
Exactly.
with it. And it was
Exactly.
really amazing and I was so proud of myself.
Yes. And so that's super important what you just said, Kim, because the entire point of this work, number one, is to show you what's in the way, show you how it got there, help you remove it. And then what happens is the reason I'm so heavy and I put so much emphasis on the support Monday through Friday and even sometimes on the weekend when I can
Mhm.
is because at the end of the day, no matter what your belief is in life, number one, there's this quote by this guy named Ram Dass. Have you ever heard of Ram Dass?
No.
Like this philosopher guy. I'll send you some stuff later. But he says, no matter what your religious beliefs are, maybe you're an atheist, maybe you don't believe in anything. Cool. One thing's for sure, we're all walking each other home. Wherever that home is, we're all walking each other home. And the reason I put so much emphasis on the support is
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, you have a life to live and you can help yourself and get in a place of self-sufficiency. You have been, and you're now in a place where the momentum is built so much. It's like taking the training wheels off of a bike and just being like, I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
I can fucking do this. Like it took some help initially, 100%,
Mhm. Oh yeah.
but I know how to let this trauma go. And so one of the things life does is it will present you with triggers. And
Mhm.
before you do deep inner work, you view triggers typically as like these little nuisances, like these little flies in your ears. Like, oh, I hate work. I hate my
Mhm.
supervisor. I hate this thing and that thing. It's so annoying. When in reality, all life is doing is saying, do you want to let this go? Are you ready to let that go? And inner work, we pivot from getting annoyed with triggers to saying,
Mhm.
cool, like, what do you have to say? Like, maybe I can hear you out and like we can let you go. And man, when you let it go, it's like, there's
Yeah.
beauty because then triggers stop being so triggering. You
Oh
start
yeah.
to view them as like, oh, nice, something else to let go of. I get to feel
Yeah.
lighter and lighter and lighter and happier and more peaceful. It's like you start to look forward to triggers after a while. You're like,
Right.
cool, bring them on, let's go. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it was only like 4 days ago, I felt dismissed by someone, and I went to my room, and then I'm like, "Why am I feeling trauma?" And I slowly cried for a while, and the tireder I got, the crazier I got in my head, but then the next, you know, I like held that the next day, I thought about that, and then I was able to release trauma with my it just like it spontaneously happens on its own once you like you understand it and sit with it and stuff, it just kind of goes away, and then you feel much better. And you can still do the work with that, person. And we talked about boundaries related to that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really crazy to do that on my own. And it was like the weekend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, doing this all by myself for the first time.
Yeah.
But I knew that I didn't really need you. So I like deleted my text, and then I just kept rewriting it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
myself so I could work it out in my head, and that's been really therapeutic for me, because sometimes I like sometimes it don't make sense when I send you stuff, but you always pick it out and you
Yeah.
understand what I say. So
It's
I'm
funny because to me, you say that often. To me, it makes sense every time. Like,
okay.
not coming from a place of I have this magical ability to decipher through the madness. No, there's not even madness in it. What's happening is in the past, as we've talked about in our sessions, it's like in the past, using your voice felt scary. It was difficult, really difficult. And now what's happening is, remember that analogy with the dam and the river? That dam, the
Yeah,
floodgates have been decimated. They're gone. And
right,
so what's happening is a flow is being restored, and that's to be expected. That's a part of the work. That's the entire point, right? And so
right.
it might seem like it doesn't make sense to you at first, because what's happening is where there's now flow, there used to not be so much. And so you're like getting your boundaries, your footing with it. You're like, oh, this
Mhm.
is okay. You'll see though. It'll all make sense soon.
Yeah, and you, I think, let me know early on with that. It's like, the more I learn and do, this stuff will just, the resolution later will just present itself, to me. And as far as like what to say, to people or to my sister, but now also recognizing what happened with her, and that I let her do these things to me. Now I I I I know that I can take control of that, and also recognize what it is, and what the value is of letting someone manipulate you, or and push you around and tell you what to do. And I was allowing her to do that.
Mm.
um
And
so
how
it's
sweet
really
it feels to put a
helpful.
stop to it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, how
Yep.
sweet
I
it
I
feels.
don't, I can, if she doesn't want to have a relationship beyond talking about, you know family, that's okay. My peace
For
is more
sure.
valuable.
Oh,
So
100%.
yeah. I love
100,000%.
feeling at peace, and my body feels at peace, and I'm also able to feel sensations of trauma release in my like whole body, and I like, or my head or whatever. And I just, it's always like a confirmation to me that this is 100% real, and that I'm finally getting my mind and body to work together. And I'm like so grateful to have a body, and to think about how I am created and who I really am. And so why would I put that in a box? And just,
Yeah.
I'm just so happy.
The work is working.
It is. Yeah, it just kind of works on its own, and it's really great. And it's okay if it just comes up. You can just, you know uh think about it briefly, sit with it. And
Mhm.
yeah.
And it's like peace, happiness. You hear me say this all the time: peace, happiness, joy, your passion, your energy. All of that is who you naturally are. Like all of that already exists. You don't need to do anything to add something to the recipe to put it there.
Right.
It's
Hmm.
not like you don't have enough happiness in your life or you have a lack of it. It's there.
Right.
There's something in the way. And so when you remove what's in
Exactly.
the way, yeah, I mean, as everyone listening has heard, you get to a place where Kim is, which is fucking bliss, to put it
Yeah.
simply. I mean, like, it's just incredible. And I'm so happy for you. And I respect the
Uh,
hell out of you for facing yourself. And I know at times it was scary. I know it was at times uncomfortable, but
mhm.
man, is it worth it? Is it
It
worth
is so worth it to
it? Yeah.
have that peace, and know that my I and also understand that my body was just trying to protect me, and now I feel like I'm getting love out of my body. So, that it's in sync, it's flowing in me, and then I'm really being more of who I am, and it'll just get better. So,
I told you at the beginning of our work, I said this. It was something along the lines of, I can't wait to see who comes out the other side of this. And we are now in that conversation. I'm having a very big deja vu moment, and I'm just like overwhelmed with joy for you.
yeah,
Genuinely, it's incredible. So,
yeah, it's really phenomenal.
yes.
I never imagined in a million years. I didn't know anything about this kind of work, and I'm so happy that I trusted you, and I would do it again, and I might do it again later on.
Oh,
So, you
more
know,
to unravel, better to
yeah,
feel. Yes.
that's right. Yeah,
Kim,
exactly.
any closing words to the audience here? I mean, anything that you want to share from the heart that you feel called to share with people? It could be anything at all, a message, advice, whatever's on your mind. Is there any final words you'd like to leave the people?
uh, just trust your heart and your instinct, and know that you are worthy of love and peace, and you don't need to just slowly die and let yourself go, or physically or mentally, for remaining years. I know most people you might meet are younger, but just trust your instincts, and you won't be disappointed at all, and you can just be who you are, and share all your grief and trauma and stuff, and Max will know how to lead you through it, and what kind of programs that you need, and you won't regret it, but then you'll be able to finally start really living, and not the bed rotting, but slowly just start from where you are, and work towards, like, even with weightlifting or exercise, it's like it's hard at first, but after a couple weeks you'll really be into it and feel so much better. So just trust Max, just trust your the impressions and instinct, and Max will do like a call with you, so, and see if it's a good fit. So you won't be disappointed. At least do that, and then you'll know. That's how
Awesome.
you'll know. So
And if you are disappointed, it's Kim's fault. All right, go message
yeah.
her. Yeah, just kidding.
I won't
Awesome.
refund your money.
Exactly. Kim, thank you so much for meeting today. And thank you
Oh,
for
thank you.
sharing your story and your transformation with people. I mean, it's nothing short of deeply profound. And I'm so grateful to have worked with you. And thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for trusting me and for facing yourself. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're one of the most important people in my life, and
Oh
that's
my
really how
God.
I feel, and I'm so grateful. I know it's a working relationship, but it just means so much, all that you've put into me. So thank you.
Absolutely, Kim. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.